Alright, take two. The shit show around here. So, it's been a minute since I've posted anything. I'm posting my last video that I recorded and never got to because I forgot. It was talking about, Nashville, which I just didn't really enjoy all that much. It has nothing to do with Chase or anything. It's just I just didn't really enjoy it all that much. Um, But I went to Pocono, one of the worst tracks ever. That doesn't deserve a race, let alone two races in one weekend. So, but I'm trying to see what other. Like with the truck series, it's just been John Hunter Nemechek winning like every single fucking race. Um, Knoxville, they were in Knoxville this past Friday, which was an absolute shit show, wreck fest, and people were blaming the track and shit like that. I'm like, realize this is the driver's fault, not the NASCAR itself, not the track. So don't blame the track nor the series for what happened that night. That was disrespect of the drivers, not treating each other with respect, not racing the way they should be. It was just it went on too longer than it should have, and it was just a lot of banged up car like trucks, and that was unnecessary. I didn't really watch it. I just heard a lot about the shit show that came from it. So, um, the Xfinity series, I just can't get. You know how I feel about Kyle Busch. He's been a shit show, little leech in the Xfinity series all year long, the whole series, like all season long. Every start he had, he's won. This one this weekend, controversial because he wrecked his own teammate in order to get his own win. He was going to lose that race, but no, he's like, oh, I'm going to wreck my teammate who was going for his first win. But God forbid he ever loses a goddamn race in the minor leagues. But his little band of goons, yes, I call you goons because you guys kiss his ass and kiss his feet as much as you possibly can. And defend his actions and the way he speaks to people or about people is disgusting. His fans are just as bad as the driver itself. I mean, the driver, not the guy. Like, he can off track, he's probably like the nicest guy ever. I've never met him. I don't plan on meeting him. I don't ever want to meet Kyle Busch because he's not my driver and I don't give a shit. But he's been just a hot. Ugh. People just make it so hard for me to say anything about their little god complex egotistical driver called Kyle Busch, who just goes like one race he shouldn't have won, this race he shouldn't have won. It's like just give these wins to him on a silver platter, and that's where I'm gonna end it right there. And supposedly, he's retiring from the Xfinity series, and I'm like, people are like, don't leave, he's gonna come back. You're welcome. No, stop encouraging it. You're like, oh, but they learn from the Cup drivers and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, they learn from the drivers who are not 2 to 4 seconds ahead of them. They can't learn shit from that. They can't learn anything when the driver is lapping the goddamn field or just numerous seconds ahead of them. But like, what are they supposed to learn? Like, I don't care about the Cup drivers in the lower series, but it's hard to learn something when you don't see the driver ever because they're like miles ahead of you. That's just my take on it. It's like, I don't give a shit who is it in the race, Cup driver wise. I don't really care Busch is in it, but it makes it hard because no driver is going to learn anything from him because one, he has the literal his Cup crew chief like team in the pits helping him out. And I get that other Cup drive like Xfinity drivers have Cup pit crews from like their affiliate teams like Hendrick or RCR or whatever. I get that, but that doesn't mean that makes their car like superior like Kyle Busch because he's in JGR equipment with his Cup pit crew and all his sponsors and making his car like 10 miles an hour faster than everyone else. So, before you come at me, I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. But Xfinity racing has not been exciting for me, nor has the truck racing because it's just been the same old bullshit every week. Just predictable, and I just don't really give a shit about it. So, um, now we get to the Cup Series. The season has been dominated by Chevy, mainly Hendrick Motorsports. This past weekend they kind of struggled a little bit, but granted, it's Atlanta, and it's not the greatest track in the world, and they come to terms to repave it after they are repaving it for next year, which I feel like is going to be an utter shit show, and it already is. Like my boy Chase, hometown kid, man, driver, whatever you want to call it, started on the pole because he won the race prior to that at Road America, Road Course Ringer. I'll get to that in a minute. 4th of July, baby. So that was a good week for us Chase fans, a good day to celebrate the 4th. And let me get into the whole July 4th thing and people bitching about Daytona. People are like, why are they breaking tradition and going to another track for the 4th? Why don't they just stay at Daytona? It's tradition, and they're breaking tradition. And I'm like, did you not see the crowd at Road America? Wisconsin is like built around, that's a racing state. Racing state. There was 100,000 fans all around that damn track, a 4-mile track. 4 miles. Longest track they've run on this season. And every inch of the outline of that track was fans watching that race, having a blast, enjoying the 4th of July, enjoying the race they were watching because there was like actually a lot of like action and good racing involved. I actually enjoyed that race. I'm not a fan of road courses, but Road America kind of changed changed my mind a little bit on road course racing, but not like fully, but just that race alone was like, not because Chase won, I'm not saying it because Chase won, but for no matter who won that race, it was a good atmosphere on the 4th of July. A bunch of fans were cheering, enjoying their time, drinking beer, hanging out with friends, just enjoying celebrating our country's birthday. And it was just the atmosphere there just was radiated, and the opening ceremonies was just gave me chills. And but the whole race itself was just, I thought it was really really good. And of course people are gonna bitch and moan about the road courses, and here's my thing: fans in this fan base are literally the worst. They're toxic as shit, and they're hypocritical, and they don't know what they want. Like with road courses, they ask for more road courses, more of them, but they keep claiming that now that Chase has won all these road courses in the past couple of years, they're like, oh, they only added it because Chase is good at them. That's their golden boy. It's their popular driver. No, they added these way before Chase was on his like winning streak on road courses and how good he was. They don't base it upon a driver or the most popular driver or the recent champion. They're like, they made the schedule early last year. Like, came out, I feel like came around like what? Around the summertime? I don't remember exactly, but it came out before Chase was on his like winning streak of like before he hits number 7, which was Road America. Like, you can't blame the dude for being good at what he Like, realize his crew chief has worked with Jeff Gordon, who's won 9 road course races, and I'll get to that in a second. And then, and now Chase sits one behind Tony Stewart. Those names are legendary champions, proven champions, and those numbers came from their entire career. Yes, they had only had like what, 2 a season, but people are bitching that, oh, he has more chances to win here, and like now that they added more road courses, so of course he's gonna surpass it because he's a Mr. Popular, so that's how they did it. And I'm like, no. Realize Jeff Gordon, 9 wins came out throughout his entire 20-year career, like 2 decade career. He had numerous chances to win more races on road courses, regardless how many they had on the schedule. He had over like what, over 40 starts on the on road courses. Hold on. I want to find it real quick. Like the stats and everything. But the thing is, Chase won his first cup race at Watkins Glen. We didn't even know he was that good on road courses up until like he proved that it wasn't just a one-off thing. And people are like, "Oh, he's only good at road courses." Half, like, like imagine being a fan of a driver who's only won half, like majority of his wins in the Cup Series on road courses. I'm like, realize road courses take a lot more skill than they do on ovals. Like it takes a lot of talent and skill, and a lot of patience on road courses than they do on ovals. I'm not saying they're like ovals are easier. I'm just saying road courses are a lot more difficult than like super speedway or oval or whatever. It's like, I'm not saying it's easy. Like, you get what I'm saying. Hold on. I have to scroll back a little bit. It's gonna bug me. Hold on. I'm watching the home run derby, so. Oh, was I looking at? Hold on. Do. I'm just gonna. These guys are insane. Okay, here's an example here. Hear that crowd.
Enough said. Happy 4th, everybody. Have a safe weekend.
Like, how is that not like something to like be hyped about, dude? The guy has won 7 road courses and 13 cup wins. So I don't understand. I don't understand. No, I'm like all over the place. Forgive me. Forgive me. It's gonna take me a minute, and I'm gonna get to the drama of the recent debacle this past weekend. Um, like the all-time win list on a road course. Look at that: Jeff Gordon 9 wins, Tony Stewart 8 wins. Those came from like what, over 40 starts of their entire career in like what, 2 decades or so, because Jeff Gordon retired in 2015. At the end of 2015, and Tony Stewart retired at the end of 2016 because I was there at Phoenix for one of his final races at Phoenix. as a Cup driver. So that was pretty cool. And it was Chase's rookie season, so it was pretty awesome. Um, so, um, but Chase has won 7 road course races in a way less time than these guys have. And he can be on the verge this season if he could go on and win the rest of the road courses this season, which is a high probability. But we're going to the Indy road course. I don't know how he's going to fare on that. But he's been pretty good on new road courses as of late and new tracks. But like 16 starts and Yuri has 7 wins on road courses. But people fail to realize it takes skill, a lot of goddamn skill, to win on these tracks, especially something really technical like places like Watkins Glen, Road America. Circuit of the Americas is even really technical because they have all those crazy ass turns and crap like that. So, oh my goodness, so much to talk about in such little time. But Pocono does not deserve a freaking doubleheader. Just saying that right now. Um, but the drama after the first race of Pocono, the last lap, it looked like Kyle Larson was going for 4 in a row, which I didn't want to see, but it was going to be another Hendrick win, just adding on to our total, like like organization wins and Chevy wins. But I think Hendrick was going for 10 wins. No, going for 9 wins there. Chase got the 10th win for Hendrick at Road America. So, but Larson on the last lap, mind you, he did not pit. He pit, but he didn't take tires on the last pit stop that he took. He made last lap. He was over a second ahead. Blows a tire, runs into the wall, and guess who's right behind him? His teammate Alex Bowman, who says, "Oh, I didn't deserve that win. Oh, I didn't deserve it. Larson beat me." I'm like, no, honey, you beat him. You beat him. I feel like I talked about it in my previous video, but I'm gonna say it again. He deserved that shit. He put himself in position to win, and he made it happen. Regardless of how it happened, you beat your fucking teammate. Beat him, because I can't stand Larson. I will never like Larson, and I'm so glad he's on like a kind of a bad streak right now. Just a little bit. But Larson blew a tire, smacked the wall, kind of still finished in the top 10, I may add. So that was a little pretty impressive. But the second Pocono race, it came down to a fuel mileage, and I hate fuel mileage races as much as I hate it so much because Kyle Busch won it, and I'm pissed off. And he was out of gear, out of fourth gear, majority of the goddamn race. So that pissed me off a little bit. And Kyle Larson came in second, which really pissed me off too. But second, Chase had a god awful day at Pocono. Like both races, it was just a shit show. That's why I hate Pocono. Not because Chase had bad days, just that track just gets drawn out, like the spreads out for like 10, 12 seconds. It's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, fam. I don't know how people enjoy that at all. It was just not fun at all. But we got some stage points, but not a lot. We made up for it next week at Road America. So, there's that. But Atlanta. Let's talk about Atlanta. I hate Atlanta more than life itself. Like, I hate the track itself because it's so goddamn boring. They're like, oh, it's such an exciting race. I'm like, the only exciting part of that race was the battle between Kyle and Kurt at the very, very end. Like, the last 30 laps was them going back and forth. But the better Busch brother won. And it was great. And his brother's butthurt about it, and I'll get that to in a second. Um, ugh, my legs hurt. Um, oh, you like my champion flag right there? I got a new flag right there. My Padres flag. It has Hosmer, Tatis, Myers, and Machado on it, and there was only like a limited running of that flag, and I got one of the last two, one of them, while I was in San Diego. I'm like, thank you, and I got a Vegas Golden Knights flag, so I'm pretty excited about it. Um, I'll make another video talking about my San Diego vacation. I'm kind of ready to get back to work. It's like once I get home, I get like real restless and I don't know what to do with myself. So anyway, squirrel. Um, but Atlanta. I'm not a fan of it, but they're repaving it for next year, and I'm not a fan of that either. I hate repaves, even though it's a 25-year-old like track, like one of the oldest tracks on the circuit. Um, it pains me that they're repaving this, just like they repaved Texas and they destroyed the racing on that track. Um, but um, what was I saying? Like overall, the race wasn't terrible, but it got boring at points where I'm just like, I was just not interested. I was on my phone a lot. I just really didn't care because one, Chase was like running, like he was struggling with the handling of his car yet again. The tire wear on that track is crucial, and it was just like he was battling with his tires and the handling of his car. Um, he settled in seventh, finished seventh, so we're sitting fifth in points, like fifth playoffs and fifth in like overall season points, which is good. We're still in a good position. 300 cars are in the top five right now. Denny somehow is holding on to that regular season points lead with like the grit in his teeth, like by 8 to 10 points, right around that range. Um, which I'll never understand because he's been running like shit lately. Um, what was I saying? Um, in my opinion, he was running like shit. So, granted, I just don't like Hamlin. I never have and never will. Um, Hamlin. Oh, Hamlin finished 13th, so he was one of the worst Gibbs guys that day, yesterday. But Kurt Busch pulled off the win for Chip Ganassi Racing by the help of his teammate Chastain, who I strongly dislike. And you're gonna ask, like, who do you like? I'm like, you know who I like. I'm wearing one of the shirts now. I cut the sleeves off because it's hot as Hades out here. I'm in Arizona, so but but Hendrick Motorsports wasn't running at their top performance this week, which I'm not really concerned about because I feel like everyone's starting to catch up just a little bit to them, but Chevy still came out on top, so it doesn't really bother me. And the Busch brother came out on top, and I feel like it was just more suiting because Kyle Busch is an ass. I'll just take like his response to losing always rubs me the wrong way, especially when he throws someone under the bus that was not even to blame. If it was his teammate blocking for him, like not, it was hardly a block. He was just in the same, like Chastain was in the same lane as Busch, and he was literally just right behind him, and gave his teammate the bottom lane. It's not really considered blocking. I just call that racing and helping a teammate. So, and then once the leaders passed, Chastain got behind his teammate, like kind of pushed him and got him to the lead, which ended up winning the race. So, and Chastain didn't do anything wrong. He was fighting to stay on the lead lap. At that point, he had got passed, so I saw nothing wrong with it. Of course, Busch likes to run his mouth and say that's just the kind of driver he is. Gonna come back to him. He's a piece of crap, and He's a dude. Like he was just running his mouth about Chastain. Like, dude, if roles were reversed, and your teammate was helping you out, you probably wouldn't say shit because you're an egotistical maniac and can't accept help or give credit where it's due. Because I've never hear you do that or accept um, responsibility for anything because it's never your fault. Especially when you didn't wreck Chase at Darlington last year, which he did. Um, he keeps saying he didn't, but he did. Um, and just like Saturday, where he wrecked his teammate for the win, um, Hemrick. So I don't know how understand how he has it right. He had never won a race, so there's that. But this is why I can't stand Kyle Busch. He could be a decent human being if he just learned to lose gracefully. I'm not saying he has to be like cheerful and happy that his brother won, but at least shows some sentiment in like, hey, congratulations, great battle, whatever. That was a good run, um, great battle. But no, it's like my phone's listening to me. I don't know what it's doing. Um, it was a great battle, but no, he had to whine about it, throw his like Kurt's teammate under the bus, like he did something wrong, like blatantly blocked him. Like no, the thing is, he was just doing what teammates do, and people are like, oh, it's team orders. I'm like, no. Watch any race that like a teammate behind you who's not even in contention, like would push their teammate to the win or just help them out in some fashion to keep them out in front, like Chastain did with Kurt. Like, are we gonna people are like, let's penalize him because he inflicted with the leaders and like manipulated the finish? Like, he didn't manipulate anything. He was racing to stay on the lead lap, failed at that, but helped his teammate along the way to get a win for the organization and help Kurt win a race before CGR goes to someone else. Like it got sold to Trackhouse Racing, so who knows where Ross Chastain's gonna go or Kurt Busch. So this could be one of their final races that they win ever. So seeing CGR get a win in this kind of fashion is a good thing, and Kyle should be happy about that. That his brother got a win because you don't know where Kurt's gonna go because he's been in so many teams over his career. You just don't know, and he's a very talented driver at his age. Like he's not old, but he's a seasoned veteran. He's 42 years old. He's been in this Cup Series for what 21, 22 years now. He's not slowing down one bit. He's capable of winning races. It's just he could need to get the opportunity with better cars and just the handling of his cars and a little bit more speed. But you don't doubt the capability of a champion, like a former champion. Like I love watching brothers battle on track. This is the fourth time in their entire like cup careers that they've finished 1-2. So like the first two, Kyle came out on top. The second, like the last two races, the current one, Kurt came out on top. The last race, I believe, was at Kentucky, 2019, where Kurt just barely beat Kyle, but beat him. So it was awesome. So people are like throwing little bitch fits, like, "Oh, was it intentional? Was it wrong?" And it's racing, people. Teammates help teammates, whether it's team orders or not. And it wasn't team orders because any teammate in any fashion, like, minus JGR, because they don't act like fucking teammates whatsoever. They treat each other like dirt, especially Penske. Penske don't treat each other like teammates whatsoever, which is probably why Brad Keselowski is leaving Penske next year. So I'm kind of happy he's leaving that toxic environment, even though I still don't like him. Um, but like those two teams don't act like teams. Like don't act like teammates. Like oh, this is like in a world of his own. Like only thinks for himself, basically. But if roles were reversed and a teammate helped Kyle Busch out, he wouldn't be bitching and complaining. He'd be like, "Ooh, yay, win, number whatever." Um, I won Atlanta. It's like, okay, got the weekend sweep, whatever. But he didn't get it, so he bitched and moaned, blaming someone else, even though he like used up his equipment and pushed way too hard there at the end, hit the wall and just lost momentum. But he wants to blame Chastain for just being in his lane. Like, Chastain gave him the bottom. You passed all these other cars who gave you your lane, or you had to pass down the bottom or move around. How is Chastain any different? Like, he just wants to complain, but people are like, you guys get mad when Kyle Busch does something and blah 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 and whines about something, calls him a crybaby, but we didn't hear anything when Miguel did the same thing in Atlanta earlier this season. I'm like, that's just not even the same thing, dude. Larson used up his shit. That's the way like Kyle Busch used up his crap, trying to like either get to the leader or defend his lead. Either way, they both lost because Brian Blaney won that race because he had a better car at the end, and Kurt Busch had a better car pretty much the entire race at Atlanta, winning stage 2 and winning the race. So let's just get over that concept real quick. And Kyle Busch is just known for being a giant turd his entire career. And what's funny, the video, like before they started racing at Atlanta, was Kurt eating a bag of M&Ms. I'm eating this like bag of M&Ms. I'm gonna be like you're gonna be eating my dust later at Atlanta. Like, it aged so well. What is my phone doing? I don't even understand what my phone's doing. Hello? What's happening? Hello? What am I doing? I don't understand what my phone. Okay. What are we doing? Alright. I don't understand what my phone is doing right now. Alright, I'm just gonna have to keep it like that because it's being retarded. Anyway, Atlanta, decent race. Wasn't the greatest. I'm not a fan of it. But the battle at the end was great. We move on to another shit show track that I despise more than life itself. And my phone just, I don't know what it's doing. Uh, New Hampshire, I can't stand that track. It's just pointless to me. There's no character to it. It's just all flat like Pocono. So it's just going to be a throwaway race for Chase because he's not good at New Hampshire. So, but we'll see. I don't know. People keep saying, "Oh, all these tracks Kevin Harvick's good at, and he has potential," but he hasn't had the speed all season or been in contention to win any of these races that he's claiming to be good at, like tracks to be good at. Even Hamlin, he hasn't been hardly in contention at all as of late, but yet he's still in the points lead. So I don't. And yet both of them have no wins, and there's 5 races left in the regular season, and neither of them won, but they're gonna go in on points, I believe. So it's gonna be like Harvick, Hamlin, Hamlin, Harvick, Austin Dillon. I feel like is gonna get in because he's been pretty consistent lately, and his teammate Reddick, but we'll see. But with Kurt winning the points at the bottom, it's like there's a big gap there, so I don't feel like that's going to change. Whoever's like in the points in 16, that's who it's going to be. We got like the Indy Road Course. We got Watkins Glen, which he's a favorite at because we're going to go 3-4-3 since we didn't race on it last year because COVID. But we're getting back to normal slowly but surely. But we're getting there. Really excited to be back at Phoenix in November for the championship weekend, which is going to be full capacity, as I said in many videos ago. But I'm excited, super excited. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And sorry for the shit show of this video. I'm all over the place, trying to get back into the swing of things after not being here for a week or so, being off of work. It's throwing me off, so I have to get back on my routine tomorrow with work. I'm like, I want to go back to work, but I don't at the same time. So I have to get back in the routine of not being able to sleep all week. So, but yeah. But my Roval win, Chase Roval win from last year is shipped out, and I'm super excited to get it. So I'm still waiting on my race version of like my Roval, my race version of Phoenix and Martinsville. So I'm waiting on 3 diecasts right now from last year. So I'm excited. I got a lot of new things, so I'm pretty excited. And my championship diecast came in. I was super excited about that. Someone was trying to bring me down on that. Like, it's not race diecast. I don't care. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm excited about it because I was there to witness it. And not only did you see the trailer for Chase's like documentary, Chase like with Dale Jr. Finally going to Delsonville. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I signed up for Peacock just for that. Um, I'm excited to see it. Dogs are barking. I gotta go.